Hey, it's Becky here, and we're still talking about how to make homeschool more fun using board games. If you haven't had a chance to go and watch the foundational video about why we want to use board games while we're teaching our children, I'm going to encourage you to watch that first and then circle back and come through. I'm in the process of talking about the favorite games within my household that we have used over the course of our homeschooling career and giving you some ideas about how we use these games effectively for teaching our kids. This next game I'm going to show you is still our favorite and has been for the past 7 years, 8 years. We were introduced to this game by somebody from our church, and their words were, "Be prepared to be divided, families taking sides, blood being drawn. This is a fun game." And okay, I have 5 sons, so they're like, "Yes, tell me." So, can you guess what it is? Settlers of Catan. Uh, it's not Catan, it's Catan. I know because I say it wrong all the time. This is a hefty priced game, so I encourage you to put a little jar aside and to invest in it. It may take a bit. I think it's over $50. And then with the extension pack, it's more than that. However, it's been our favorite game for 7 to 10 years. The first time we sat down to play it, we naively pulled out the board. And the way that the game works is you create this, what is that, a hexagon? A hexagonal shaped board. And there are different tiles in there, which you put down randomly. So every time you play the game, it's different. We started to set up the game, and everybody's ire was starting to get irked. There was dissension amongst the troops, and eventually we packed it up and I said, "No, this is not going to work. We play games to have fun, not to destroy each other or to get frustrated that we can't understand." So, as a homeschooler, what we did for the next few days while older kids were busy is we studied the rules for Settlers of Catan, and then we wrote, as homeschoolers, I had the kids write how to play the game. So this is our version of how to play the game, where we understood how to play it. And of course, the game book is a lot more detailed when people try to cheat or if there's any discrepancy on the game. This is an amazing strategy game. It's also a character building game because not everybody likes to play the same way. This is I think it's a 5-player game. The base game, if I can see it, is 3 to 4 people. And then you can get the extension pack so that you can play with 5 or 6. Now I have 5 kids, so that means there are 7 of us when we all play the game. So we have to team up. And teamwork is part of one of the reasons that we play games in homeschool, is that we can learn to work with differing personalities, different ways that we think about strategy and such. And so we have the extension packet. We also have the different kinds of settlers. This is our favorite though, just the base Settlers of Catan. Some people take it super seriously, and wow, we have a friend that just invests in board games. Fantastic. So what kinds of things can you learn from Settlers of Catan? A lot. Besides teamwork, you have to have this long-term strategy. The idea is that you are populating the board with these little houses, and in order to, I'm trying to get to the actual card, you build roads, little houses called settlements, or bigger houses called cities, and you have to attain different kinds of resources in order to build a road. So in order to build a road, you need brick and lumber. In order to build a settlement, you need sheep, grain, wheat, lumber, and brick. In order to build a bigger city, you need to establish your resources. On the game board, so you have the game board is made of all of these hexagonal pieces that go down in different configurations every time you play, but each one will have a little number on there, and the number is the number of the dice that you roll, the number of the die that you roll. Actually, it's dice because you roll 2. Is that right? Anyway, so you roll dice. And based on if you have your little house, so let me grab one. If you have your little house with a road on a piece of, this is a settlement, but you have your little house on this and say it has the number 6 on there. So you roll a 6, and anybody that has their house, it would be on the edge, house near that settlement on that number, you get to get 1 or 2 of whatever that is, depending on the size of your little house that's on there. This is a huge lesson in probability, because even in the rules, you can't have numbers like 6 and 8 together on the board, because you have the highest probability of rolling a 6 or an 8 when you toss the dice. And so there's so much strategy when you're thinking about where you build your little city, because you have to take into consideration where the resources are on the board, what your ultimate strategy is. Are you trying to just build the longest road? Are you trying to build the largest army? Are you trying to just develop city after city after city? So first you have to look at the resources, but then you have to look at the numbers on the board and recognize that if there's a 2, you are much less likely to roll a 2 than you are a 5 or a 6 or an 8. And I skipped over 7 for a reason, because 7 is a robber, a thief. And so you have the ability to sabotage somebody's game by placing a robber on the number so that they cannot collect resources during that game, during when the robber is on the place. So there's a lot of strategy with this game, and it's easy to play, but tricky to learn. Does that make sense? It's why we made it a homeschool writing assignment to study the board game and to figure out how to play the rule, how to set up the game, where to put the robber, how to roll the dice, and what order you play the game. Once we had that nailed down, we have enjoyed this game hundreds of times. We actually take it with us when we go on vacation because it's fun. But then as the kids have been, as they've grown, it's really been an excellent lesson in probability and the rolling, what you're going to be rolling on the dice and how you strategically plan what piece you're going to put where. Super, super fun. So Settlers of Catan, it's a great game to divide your family or to build teamwork and relationships. And you will look back on the times that you played a game like Settlers, and you will look back with fond memories. It's truly one of the games that we'll carry with us as we eventually turn into grandparents down the road. So Settlers of Catan, a really great game to add to your homeschool toolkit.